My fellow goats, welcome back to another countdown video. This time we'll be looking at my picks for the greatest video game soundtracks out of all the games I've played. As I've said previously, music is second to gaming for me, so a topic like this, well, it was only a matter of time. But as it always is with lists like these, there will probably be something you really like that won't be on the list. Like I said, this is out of the games I've played. I'm only one guy. I have played quite a lot of games, and I don't want this video to waste your time, so I will only be limiting each franchise to one entry only, so I'll be picking what I think is the best of a series. I will touch on the runner-ups as well when relevant, however, so consider those honorable mentions if you want. I'm going to do my best to very briefly describe why each soundtrack is so good, but more importantly, I'm going to try to explain why the music works so well for the game it's featured in, and simply put, how much I like it personally. That's the basic gist of how they will be ranked as well. Oh, and no licensed music. Sorry, Tony Hawk. Anyway, if you like the music you hear in this video, I strongly recommend playing the games featured in this list before going out and listening to the whole soundtrack, as it's better to experience the music in the way it was intended. This should not be taken as an objective list by any means, obviously, but I'd like to hear your choices for favorites as well. With so many great video game soundtracks out there, it's possible there's one I haven't heard yet that will take over my favorites list. Though considering what I have lined up here, that's going to be a very, very tough fight. Just saying. Grab your salt and let's get into it. We're starting off the list with a banger, and yes, it's weeb trash. Tokyo Xanadu. This song you're hearing now is the main menu theme, a song that, on its own, could have warranted inclusion on my list, and I've used it in several videos before. What's interesting about this game is that it's a one-off made by Nihon Falcom in the middle of them pumping out the Trails series, at least once every other year. Yet they still squeezed this one, and Ys 8, out in between Trails of Cold Steel 2 and 3, and crammed 95 surprisingly brilliant and fitting songs into its soundtrack. And damn, does it have some funky tracks that make this otherwise mediocre Persona wannabe game much more enjoyable. Though to be fair, a lot of it does feel like a less fantasy version of the Trails of Cold Steel games. Not really a bad thing, because Falcom's modern style of music is much more suited to modern themes than fantasy in my opinion. It works very well in this game, and even has some silly Japanese idol songs to go with it. hell, here we go. This next one is going to be controversial due to it not being higher on the list. It's a game I have an unfortunate, complicated relationship with because it's my kind of game, but, well, Chrono Trigger. I've played part of it a long time ago, got stuck at one part, then the whole game got spoiled for me. Haven't picked it up since. Maybe I will again someday, but I don't know. That said, every time I hear one of the game's songs somewhere, be it on someone's YouTube video or something, I can't help but feel what everyone else feels when they say that it's one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time. Fun fact, I listened to this soundtrack while recording this video, just saying. I just wish I could have experienced this game in the same way. That said, I enjoyed this game's music enough to include it regardless, and I noticed that Chrono Trigger's music has a lot of similarities to another game on this countdown. We'll get there soon enough. Hopefully. For the next two entries, I'm going to cheat a bit, and include them as sort of general series entries, starting with Halo. And really, you can pick pretty much any of the first three games and you have an awesome soundtrack that moves from the most beautiful choir evoking a sense of legend and wonder, to the orchestrated music that gives you a push of morale to never give up on the next difficult part of the game, to a fucking nu metal song by Breaking Benjamin? Okay, that's a bit of a curveball, but back when it came out, everyone I knew loved it, and so did I. I'm definitely biased towards Halo 2 in this regard because it's the one I put the most time into back then, but yeah, Halo's music is definitely a significant part of why it became such a phenomenon. Dragon Quest. For much of the series, Dragon Quest music has not changed nearly as much as the others. Koichi Sugiyama had his signature style, and did it consistently, and did it very well. A man very much set in the old ways, as he was 90 when he passed away last year. But a big part of Dragon Quest's appeal is that it's just so charming. From the art style to the humor to the absurd trollish battle system the games have, and to the music that tops it off with its over-the-top cartoonish depiction of what fantasy RPG music should be. But you can't deny that it works, and sometimes the songs just hit so well, they just make you want to go on an adventure yourself. If there's one genre that tends to have great music and deserves its place on the list, it's fighting games. Unfortunately, I'm not that much of a fighting game player, but I have played one a long time ago that's full of absolute bangers that have been remixed multiple times throughout the years because they're just so damn good. Street Fighter II. Each song in this game is crafted to match the personality of each character so well that you can hear their theme playing in your head as soon as you see even a still image of them. Of course, I haven't been keeping up with the actual series because it's not really for me anymore. But Ryu and Ken's addition to Smash and the inclusion of every single fighter theme from Street Fighter II got me back into appreciating just how good every single song was. The next entry is a very easy one to explain. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, a game inspired by Southeast Asian mythology and folklore, with, from what I've heard, very authentic Southeast Asian influenced music. Needless to say, all the music in this game fits the setting perfectly, and even without this knowledge, it's still a joy to listen to on its own, and it still knows how to get intense when it matters. This soundtrack does an incredible job making you feel like you're immersed in the jungle village that's been overtaken by nature, trying to keep its history of dark secrets under wraps. I hope to see the team behind this game to do another like this in the future, whether it's in the same Asian style or not. Coming up next, we have a rather obscure PS3 game that Sony seems to forget exists these days, Folklore. I was enthralled by the style of this game when I got to play it, being inspired by Celtic mythology set in a real-world Irish town. Many Japanese games took inspiration from Celtic music and mythology prior to this, but seeing them make one with the realish setting was interesting to say the least. And this soundtrack is full of magic, whimsy, and a touch of sadness too, such as the simple yet effective atmospheric theme of the town. After all, the game's story is a dreary murder mystery on the surface, when you're not prancing around the chaotic netherworld fighting off mythical creatures using other mythical creatures like enslaved Pokemon in order to actually find the clues to solve it. The music complements this game so well with its theme that it's kind of unfortunate nobody talks about it anymore, as it will always be a personal favorite of mine. Metal Gear. A series I came into very late, but grew to appreciate more over time. There are still games in this series that I haven't played, but of the ones I did, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 both had amazing music in them. And for this list, I have to go with 3. Oh, it's just so good. MGS3 is a very cinematic game, and these orchestral pieces really take it up a notch, making it feel like you're in the middle of a suspenseful spy thriller, alongside some subdued yet energetic songs that amplify the tension when you're trying to not get caught. Top it all off with some really heartfelt themes for the game's more serious moments, including the most famous songs of the game's namesake, Snake Eater, and you have yourself a masterpiece. Okay, this is going to be the one and only time I break my own goddamn rules, because this game's soundtrack is so good, I have to talk about it, even though I haven't played it. VA-11 Hall-A, a convoluted way of naming your game Valhalla, I guess, has a soundtrack full of 1980s style futuristic synthwave goodness, and I absolutely love it. I've listened to this soundtrack multiple times despite the game looking like something that's not for me. Maybe I'll pick it up one day regardless, but for now, enjoy. Oh, and don't do what I did. Play the game instead of just listening to the soundtrack, just saying. Next up, we got a Yoshi game. Or is it a Tetris game? Or is it both? No, actually it's neither. Back in 1996, we got a game called Tetris Attack, but the game is actually Panel de Pon. It was just reskinned with Yoshi's Island characters because playing a game with fairies in the 90s would make you look like a fucking fairy or something. Look, I probably would have agreed back when I was 8, but at the same time, I still would have secretly liked it, just saying. Anyway, Lips theme. It's so damn catchy. And the remix for Smash made it even better, easily one of the best remixes made for that game. But the rest of the music in this game has its merits as well, as most of it wasn't replaced with Yoshi's Island themes for the version we got, so we still got to enjoy it. The game is full of chill vibes and magical tunes that easily get stuck in your head for hours after playing it, even for a little bit. And to top it off, it also has one of my favorite credits themes of all time. That's it for part 1. Stay tuned for parts 2, 3, and 4. I know splitting this video up might be annoying, but you know how the YouTube copyright system is with music. If there are any issues, hopefully doing it this way will make it easier to mitigate. And better this way than affecting a whole ass top 40 video that would end up being like over an hour long. Anyway, once the other parts are out and you've seen the whole thing, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out, just saying.